Good morning. So we are on our sixth principle of Transform Your Life. It's a book by Chris Lee. I highly recommend it. Oh, I do have a copy. It's thin. It's easy to read. It's 10 Principles of Abundance and Prosperity, and it is for sale in the Life Abundant bookstore. So if you don't own a copy, it's a good one. And so we're going to talk about declaration, and I kind of sat with that because when I read his chapter on declaration, what he was talking about is, we've done the visualization. What is it that I want my life to look like? And then we talked about the affirmations. How do I make affirmations that work, that absolutely work in my life to create so that I can start living that vision that I've created for myself? And his word declaration, what he means is setting goals. And I was like, setting goals. That reminds me of corporate America. Because when I worked at corporate America, every year you had to have goals so that they could grade you at the end of the year. Did you meet this? Did you, plus, minus, plus, minus. And then you got a raise or you didn't get a raise. And some people got bigger raises than other people. I thought, that's really not something I want to talk about on Sunday morning. Except that it is important, even spiritually, that you have goals. Whether it be goals that seem very human-like, or goals that will take you a little bit deeper. And so I'm going to talk about some goals, some declarations that I think as a community, as individuals, that we could probably claim and work towards. Because remember, we talk about when we do prayer, treat and move your feet. You can absolutely treat day in and day out that you want the perfect relationship. And if you're not going to go outside, unless you have a UPS guy or woman that happens to be single that knocks on your door someday, your chance of getting that perfect relationship, it's a little less. I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but being engaged in your vision, in your affirmations, make it happen. And so these are, to me, goals that we can all have together as a community. And the first one is live like you're loved by the universe. Live like the universe really loves you, that is always for you. Now, there are some people out there, I know, because I've been there. There are some times when we say the universe is for us, we're like, yeah, not right now. Do you realize what's going on in my life right now? It sucks. How can the universe be for me if my life is sucking? Because we're human, right? We're human, and I believe that we chose to be here. And so if we chose to be here, life is about learning and experiencing. And sometimes that can get messy. Sometimes it can get downright ugly. And yet it's how we move through that and how we grow spiritually and consciously, individually and collectively, I think is the reason we're here. And so to realize, even in those times when you're in a dark night of the soul, or you've really got a whole bunch of lemons and no sugar, so lemonade doesn't even seem possible, that when you get to the other side of it, you're going to realize, there's my pony. That's why I went through all of that horse manure. There's my pony. Now, every time I have gone through something, I promise you there has been a pony on the other side of it. In the midst of it, not so much. In the midst of it, all I could smell and all I could experience was what the pony was leaving behind. And when you're in the midst of it, sometimes it's so overwhelming, you can't even see straight. And so to realize in those moments, universe is always for me. And I am going to persevere through this and be more magnificent on the other side of it. And really, that is why we have practitioners and ministers here. Because nobody needs to walk through any experience, in my opinion, by themselves. And trust me, There are practitioners and ministers here, including me. That is why we became practitioners and ministers. Because even when you're deep in it, we're going to see the truth of who you are, God in form, and that the universe loves you. And we're going to walk beside you, we're going to pray with you, and we're going to know the higher truths. So always remember, your first declaration is the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, loves you. And it loves you so much, it gives you opportunities to grow spiritually. And then to remember that this universe that you're part of is infinite. So your source is infinite. It never runs out of things. If somebody were to sit here, in fact, I had a friend recently, and he has a fabulous idea that he wants to do with his life, a healing center. And I was just like so excited for him that he wanted to do this. Now that doesn't mean that 6, 7, 20, 30 other healers can't do the same thing, right? It's an abundant universe. It's never going to run out. If you move to Santa Fe, you'll realize it never runs out of healers. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. They congregate there. It's where their tribe is. And so there is an abundance of healers in Santa Fe. So the fact this person doesn't live in Santa Fe, right there, that's a leg up, right? But the thing is, we have 18 practitioners here. You're going to find the practitioner or minister that speaks to your heart, that has gone through the same stuff that you're going through right now. So at one point, you might want to see me because, you know, I'm in recovery. So you may want to talk to somebody that's in recovery. You may be struggling with abundance. May I recommend B. Westcott Curl, who had struggled with abundance in her life and now absolutely does not. Each practitioner and minister here has a gift they can give you. So you never have to go through anything by yourself, ever. And so to remember, you're loved by the universe, and it's infinite, and it's abundant. So everything you want is there. Sometimes it takes patience to wait for it to manifest in form. And sometimes it manifests in form. I have said this many times. I want a relationship. You get a dog or a cat. The first thing you do is say, thank you, God. You answered my prayer. I have a relationship. And then you get a little bit more clear. I want it to be human. You know, whatever your preferences are. Just know that the universe is always there, and it's always saying yes to you all the time. So another declaration we could all live with, I think, is let go of the guilt. How many in here have guilt around something? Yeah, every single one of us. And you know what it does? It makes us play small. It's absolutely what stops us from being the most magnificent beings we can be on the planet. So give it up. And it's not easy. And that monkey mind is going to come back every once in a while. I guess this is going to be my Sunday to talk about our ecclesiastical core over and over and over again. These people are brilliant. Are they more brilliant than you? No, they aren't. When they get stuck in something, guess who they go to? A practitioner or a minister. They just took the time to do the studies so they can sit with you and they can see your truth. And so don't ever think that you have to walk this path alone. Ever. And guilt, you can't change your past. Is guilt going to help you change your past? You know what it does? It keeps you stuck in your past. And then you know what happens when you're stuck in your past? It becomes your present moment. And so to give up the guilt means to quit living in the past and wishing or thinking it's going to be different. It's not. It is not going to be different. And so to reframe it, to figure out how 35 years of my life, what gifts I got out of 35 years of my life. And there were big gifts and there were big learning. Do I wish I had found this philosophy when I was 2? Sure. Wasn't my path. I did not. I found it when I found it, and I learned what I needed to learn by the path I took. And some people may say, wow, Gayle, if you turned left instead of right, your path might have been a little bit easier. I know that. I know that. I didn't. I turned left. I'm quite aware of I should have turned right. I did not. But I ended up here, and so I'm okay. And the thing that can bring me to my knees the most is going back and wishing I had turned right and beating myself up because I didn't have enough clarity in my life, or I didn't have enough wisdom or enough tools to turn right. And so one more time. But it's okay, right? It's okay. Because as we walk a path, it is uniquely ours. And if somebody pulls you off that path, you will find a way to get back on it. So trust yourself, trust your heart. Be brave and give up the guilt. It's a bad bed partner. It really is, and it will create more of the same in your life. And so along with giving up the guilt, let's also drop the shame and blame. Quit shaming yourself about what you did in your past. Quit blaming others for your life. It's easy peasy to blame other people for our life when it doesn't turn out. I had a mom and dad. I knew who was responsible for the way I was. My sister and brother didn't turn out like me, so I don't know why they picked on me. They must not have liked me. My parents loved and adored me. I just was the person that I was. So one thing to understand, you realize there's a TED Talk by somebody, and your chance of even being here on Earth is 1 in 4 billion. 1 in 4 billion. Think about that. Right there, you know what that means? You're a miracle. Every single person sitting here is a miracle. You have to be. You made it. Your ancestors made it. And so to really grab onto that and start to appreciate, I'm a miracle. I come from a lineage of people that are brave and strong, obviously, or I couldn't be here. And so what am I doing playing small? What am I doing not digging into that place within me that absolutely knows it's nothing but love? Do you realize that that is who we are? Instead of sunbeams, we're little love beams. How often we forget that in our life because somebody upsets us at a grocery store. Little things we get so excited about. I pray with somebody on Sunday, and she talked about she realized when she came back from a retreat that she wanted to reveal love, and not just in easy places. That she just needs to show up as love. And what does that look like? And then she talked about how she tried to load a program on her computer. And she didn't have much love for the computer when the program didn't load. And so those are opportunities, right? Those are opportunities. Why am I getting upset? Because this program won't load. Has anybody else been there? I know I have. I was there Saturday. I wanted to do something, and I messed up the login to the bank, and I needed to run this report, and the more steps I had to go through to get the report to run, the more anxious I got. It was like, that's a lot of wasted energy. A lot of wasted energy. So you want to be the love. You want to know that the universe loves and supports you, and it's always for you. You want to know that this thing that lives within you, that is all of you, is infinite. And so it doesn't have any boundaries. It doesn't know about the earth being round and or flat, because some people think it's flat. Now, I question their knowledge. However, they believe strongly that the earth is flat, as strongly as I believe that the earth is round. I think I'm right. But you know what? So do they. So do they. And they can defend their position as intelligently and maybe even more intelligently than I can. It doesn't make the world round or flat. It makes life life. You are going to have people in your life that are going to want to push up against you and disagree with you. Can you let them be who they are? I think that is our biggest opportunity to go deep and grow spiritually, is when family or friends, somebody in your life that you love dearly, and every time you're around them, they keep telling you the earth is flat. And you want to get into that argument with them, and you want to keep arguing with them, and you absolutely believe this time they're going to understand. The earth is round. They're going to get it. No, they're not. Maybe someday. But all your brilliance in arguing with them is doing is making you two separate. So to find that space where you can be with people that don't agree with you. They might not agree with anything that you agree with, and yet you still love them, your family. And so hold them near instead of dividing. I think that the greatest thing that we can learn as religious scientists is that we are a community that accepts and honors everybody. Everybody. So think of something in your life that you are absolutely opposed to. And now imagine the person who thinks that that's the best thing going in the world is sitting right next to you. Can you be the love that you're here to be? Can you please quit trying to change them? Let them be who they are. Not everybody is going to come to church here. People are going to go to church where they're comfortable, where they feel that they belong, where they're not called out by the minister on Sunday. And David, I called 2 guys out today. You know, let people be who they are. The world's going to keep spinning. This service did not turn upside down just because the chairs are cattywampus. And you'll notice I keep looking out there and not down here. And that's just me. You know, some of us have visual challenges. That happens to be me. Things like that can set me off. And so I want to thank David because he gave me an opportunity to check in with myself, to go, really? Chairs. Come on, Gayle. Not that important. Not that important. Not that important to for what I was going to talk about that today. Not that important when all of you showed up. Most of you probably didn't even notice. I know some of you did because you're like me and things get out of whack and you're like, whoa. But it's okay. It's realizing in that moment when something is askew. The first thing, remember, I said I did was stand out in the hallway and hug Karen and whisper in her ear, oh my God, he's moved the chairs. What am I going to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's the gift I want you to give each other. When somebody pushes your button, really think about it. Am I going to be love? Am I going to show up and let that person? You don't have to agree with them. You also don't have to argue with them, right? If we can really lay down our cross, really stop badgering each other, we will shift the energy of this planet. And I believe in my heart of hearts that needs to be done most of all. We need to look and see God in everybody's eyes we look into, regardless of what they believe regardless of what faith they practice, regardless of who they choose to love, and yes, regardless of how they vote, which really is really none of our business. So remember that and hold that in your heart. Let's pray. Let's just feel the energy. Feel that energy around you, knowing that like a fish that is swimming in the ocean, you are swimming in the consciousness of God always. So feel that, because it's the truth of who you are. And the more you feel that, the more you will realize that you are loved because it is love. That the abundance it is already you. That it is infinite, and so this life that we hold on to so dearly in this form, when it's over, we continue in consciousness. It has no beginning, it has no end. It is not contained by anything anywhere. And as Ernest Holmes used to say to young kids, remember, there's not a spot that God is not. And so it is from that place of remembering that I speak my word right here and right now for myself and for this community. I know that each one of us consciously, awake and aware, decides the universe loves me. It loves me so much. It gives me opportunities to grow, to expand, and to practice being love. That the infinite thing itself is part of me, therefore I am infinite. I know right here and right now that this source energy beats my heart, breathes my breath, allows me to see, to hear, to speak. It is the Alpha, the Omega. It is all that is, ever was, and ever will be. And it is you right here, right now. And I truly believe for each one of us, the more we capture that vision, the more that we live from that place of love, the better world we'll create, not only for ourselves, we'll create it for everyone around us and for future generations to come. Knowing this is so, I say thank you, God, for this moment, for this time, for this space. And thank you to all of you who take the time and the energy to be present, to be loving, and to know who you are. I turn all of these words over knowing that as it is spoken, it is done. The universe has said yes. And in that yes, we dance, we rejoice, we be us. So calling it good because I know it's God, together we say, and so it is. Namaste.